I'm so excited to get into it, but I guess to just start off, can you let me know kind of just your journey so far? I know you started back in January, so kind of like that timeline of what it's looked like and what things look like now.
Very different. I honestly did not expect to grow as much as I did. Starting off like back in late January, I thought of this as just like a hobby, something I was going to do on the side. I did not expect it to be a full-blown business where I'm literally working every single day, and loving the work that I do. But yeah, um, I would say the first few months were very exhausting. I felt like I didn't know what I was doing. There was a lot of misinformation going around on TikTok when I first started. I felt like I focused on the wrong things, but now, like, I feel like my head's in the game. Like, I know what I'm doing and I am constantly growing every single day.
That's amazing. I love hearing that. So I know you started in January of 2023. So, and then I recall that you got my course in March. So
Yep.
what was kind of that first month like before you joined the course versus like after?
Like I said, it was very exhausting. I think I was focusing on my portfolio a lot, and I utilized a lot of like the apps like Join Brands and all of that, which were very competitive. I felt like you weren't being seen a lot, and if you did get picked, it was like, oh, it was just like some random some random job on Join Brands. But I focused on like product photography and like just not being in my videos. So I felt like after I got your course and went through it, I was more confident. And as soon as I started putting myself in my videos, putting voiceovers and doing everything that I learned from your course, I was like, I started seeing so much more success, like in a faster time. Like,
Mhm.
um, faster than I would have done, I guess, on my own, just scrolling on TikTok, trying to find every bit of information that I needed.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. There's a lot. I know I see things too, and oftentimes it's kind of like beginners trying to also lead beginners, and the misinformation can be so confusing. And it's also like there is not one way to do it or to go about it. And
Yeah.
so like it's not a one size fits all, which also makes it hard because like what works for someone may not work for someone else. So it's a lot of like trial and error. And I know I try to like cover all sides of things so people can kind of like see what they prefer. So I'm so glad to hear that it was helpful. And then if you don't mind going over like numbers, I know some people like really keep track of like this month I made this much and like do you keep track of that or like how have your income months looked like? And do you do it full time now?
I still consider myself part-time, but this month I feel like I've gone full-time. I don't know if it's just because it's like quarter 4 and like everything, there's so much more opportunity right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I still consider myself part-time, hoping to go full-time next year.
Okay, amazing. So what is like your average income being a part-time creator?
I would say it's between 3 and 5 thousand a month.
That's amazing.
With my highest month being October, I hit my first 10K month, and yes, yeah, I was blown away. I was like, "What is happening?"
Oh my gosh. And you're a stay-at-home mom, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's amazing. So do you get to stay home with your kids and you kind of balance doing content creation and then being like a stay-at-home mom? So like how's that balance?
It was very hard to find balance at first, and I think that's like what made me feel a bit burnt out in the beginning, until I found the right group. But I normally would film during naps, edit at night, and stuff like that. But my kids are in preschool now, so I have days in the morning where I can just fully edit or film and then just edit later on. So it's been a lot easier.
Wow. I still like I have chills because 10K, like that's just like huge milestone. I know that's like kind of what everyone's going for. And I love to see people like achieving that. That's absolutely amazing. Is there anything you would give like advice wise to someone who is trying to reach a 10K month like you just did?
I would just say don't be hard on yourself. That's one of the things that I keep telling myself is because there is a lot of what would you say? You won't get every opportunity that you set out to reach. And don't let those bring you down because bigger opportunities will come. I know during my first couple months, I had brands reach out to me and I was like, oh my gosh, these are going to be my biggest deals and blah, blah, blah. And some of them fall through, some of them go through. But the next month after that, like each deal kept getting bigger and bigger. And like, I'm still sorry. I'm still in shock, like talking about this because like this is real life. But the opportunities that you don't get, there's always an opportunity for you in the future that will be and like might be and will be better. And I did notice that with my time with some brands, like you click with brands, some brands more than you do with other brands. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like the brand relationship part is really important. So you want to find those brands that you kind of mesh with because there's just a higher chance of them becoming like long-term clients versus it's just kind of like just a job and then you like don't work with them again. So
Yes.
part is really important. I know like something I'm trying to work on is relationship building. So like one of my bigger clients, like I just went to lunch with them. And so like those things are really important and really cool because that can be a brand that pays you like almost a salary for the year if you can like really create that relationship with them. Do you have a lot of repeat clients and like what does that look like?
I do now, and a lot of my repeat clients are with agencies and the platform Breakaway. Not sure if you've heard of them, but I was able to get in on the platform when they had first started, but a lot of my repeat clients are on there and with the agency I've been working for since July.
That's amazing. Have you gotten many deals from the Facebook group?
Not so much after the Amazon. I did work with them a few more times after that, but I haven't applied to any of the ones Rebecca had posted, even though I'm so tempted, but my bandwidth is just so like I don't have any more room for this month and the coming months. So definitely next year, I'm sure to apply.
So are you just fully booked out right now?
Yes, I am. And that's literally just with like Breakaway and the agency I'm working with, and then certain brands just like trickle into my inbox. I'm just like, yeah, I'll do that. And yeah.
I love that. What's been like your most proud moment or your biggest win so far?
So when I first started my social media, I friended a brand. So I followed a brand on TikTok where I was like, okay, this is the first brand I'm following. I want to work with them. And I was fresh. Like I was a fresh UGC creator. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't have any deals or anything yet, but I was like, okay, I was set out to like work with this brand. And literally like 4 months later, I had an opportunity with them and have built my relationship with them since then. And they had asked me to do one of their product launches and do like an educational video on Sephora. And I was like, I did not expect I would be on Sephora, but I ended up doing an educational video on Sephora for one of their product launches. And they were fully like, rebranding during that time too. So it was like I saw like their rebrand and like their new product that they were launching, which was so surreal to me.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm gonna have to go find it or have you send it to me. I need to see
Yeah.
it. But
It's Alpen Beauty. I don't know if you've heard of Alpen Beauty. Love them.
I don't know
Um,
if it's that.
okay, yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, wait, that's so cool. That's like a huge milestone, like beyond like Sephora. Like that's iconic. Everyone knows Sephora and like you're on their website. I love that. That's amazing. So I think that's another thing, like building relationships, how would you say you like fostered that relationship to get to the point where like they want you to be the educational speaker about a new product launch? Like that's huge.
I definitely started with them through gifted collaborations and that. I actually applied on Coley, and whoever was running the Coley platform had reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you just like apply here?" And so they took me to their actual like application page on their website, and it just like took off from there. So it's like I don't know how like that all worked out, but yeah.
That's amazing. I've seen like some videos on TikTok, and this was a while back, but like saying like don't take gifted collabs. And I'm like, what? Some of my gifted collabs, it's like very similar. Like at first it was gifted and I created a video for them and then they ran it as an ad and it did well. And it's like at this point, I feel like they paid me, maybe it was like 150, and every time they've come back to work with me, I've charged more and they've accepted it and been happy to. Like those relationships are so important, and I feel like so many of them, and I hear this time and time again, like started with a new creator who accepted a gifted collab and it just like flourished from there. So I love to hear that. That's really important. You've been doing this for, I think, 9 months, if my math is correct. So how have you increased your rates? Is that like a reason you've been able to hit 10K, or are you charging a lot for usage rights? Like what kind of makes up that 10K, if that makes sense?
A lot of it definitely is raw footage, ad usage, and um, yeah, definitely like the upselling stuff. So my base price, I would still say I should increase it more, but I don't know if I took it off my portfolio or not, but definitely depending on the brand, like I like to work with them depending on their budget. If it's a brand that I love and would definitely want to work with, and I know that I can build a relationship with them, I definitely will go on like the lower end of what I would normally charge. Not too low, but like still to where it's like, oh, sustainable for me and I'm not like overworking myself on that rate. But yeah, I would say it's different every time, and I would get more for ads and or ad rights and raw footage.
I think the flexibility is super important because those relationships are key. And a lot of brands are open, like they just want to test you out. So then if it goes well, they're open to paying you more because now you've almost like proved yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. When you first heard about UGC or were thinking about it, did you have any like hesitations to get started? Like what kind of inspired you to start?
For sure. I was not on social media. Like I barely posted anything on my personal pages. So when I was scrolling on TikTok and I saw that, and I was like it looks cool, but I don't think I could do that. And that was like July of 2022. And then I started seeing it a lot more, and then people were posting like their success and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, like I have all of these Christmas gifts from December, and I was like, I could probably just like do a couple unboxings, do this, do like photography and stuff like that, and just like put it out there and see what happens. And I was like, I have nothing to lose. So I think that's what really like jump started it for me. I was like, okay, like it was like starting a hobby. I was like, I don't really mind if I failed or not, but if I do succeed, that's awesome.
Was your first paid deal from the course? I think it was like if I'm remembering correctly, a $930 deal.
It wasn't my first, so I don't know. I mean, I guess I still count them, like the ones from Join Brands and stuff like that, and all the like odds and ends one. But my biggest and I would say most legit deal was with the agency through your course.
Amazing. I love that. So I think there's a lot of creators who like may have hesitations. I think it's really overwhelming when you see just a lot on TikTok and don't know where to go. Is there any advice you would give someone who's wanting to start UGC but may not know where to start or may have hesitations? Like what might you tell them?
I guess going off of my experience, I would say definitely just like try to get over that little hurdle and just go for it. But also, I know it's very overwhelming to be scrolling on TikTok and finding so many different creators that are saying the same thing but kind of different. So it helped finding creators that I felt like I clicked with and related to more. And I stuck with those creators to learn more about UGC and like the best practices and stuff like that until I settled on the course.
I love that. How do you feel about negotiating with brands? How has that been?
So that is still like my biggest weakness. No matter how much I try and like look back at your course, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. And like I do it, but then I think like I waver like after like the first counter and I'm just like, okay, like that's fine. Like I'm so nervous like after that to like see like what would happen. I don't know. It's still one of my biggest weaknesses that I need to work on.
Have the templates helped you for the negotiation?
Yes, I've used them a good amount of times, and there were a couple times where I set my price. Say like for one of the companies, I was like, okay, I can do all the deliverables. It was like 2 videos and like a couple pictures. I was like, okay, I can do that for 1,000, and they're like, sorry, like our budget is only 6, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then they took away like the pictures, but then they loved the 2 videos so much that they came back for more. So it was like, it ended up being like $1,200 for 4 videos. And I was like, wait, that was more than what I was gonna ask for like in the beginning, but sure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think the discovery partnerships are super helpful, but you do kind of have to be like flexible and kind of find that balance of like, okay, is this brand like, are they saying this is the absolute, like, can I wiggle a little more? So it's kind of like reading the room, which can be tough. But then once you prove yourself, I feel like you said, they want more. And then they're like, oh, we do have more budget. And then somehow they pull out more money. I'm just honestly so proud of you, so excited for you. Like, this is huge. And like, I know how it feels to be like, this is like surreal. I still don't believe it. I still don't believe like my situation. Like, it's amazing and you have so much room for growth. Like, it's a skill that can take you in so many directions. So like, so proud of you.
Thank you so much. And I do have to say, like, you played a big part in my success. So thank you so much. And thank you for having me.